Okay, why would you care what I, Mary Adkins, believe? Well, you probably wouldn't, not unless you were considering working with me to write your book by joining my program, the Book Incubator. And if you were considering joining the Book Incubator, you actually might care a lot what I believe, because what I believe defines everything I do, from how I teach writing to how I relate to my clients and my team. So in this video, I'm sharing my core beliefs, including how I run my writing program, the Book Incubator, and why. Let's go. In the middle of 2019, I decided to create the writing program that I wish had existed when I was working on my first novel. And the values I wanted to run my business by were vague and only really existed in my head at this point, but even before I had my first client, there were a few things I already knew. One, that if my business ever grew big enough that I could hire someone to help run it, I would only do it if I could pay well. If I couldn't pay well, I just wouldn't hire at all. Because after years of working for little to no pay as a struggling writer and watching my friends do the same, my husband was an actor, I couldn't live with myself if I replicated an exploitative model of operating. Two, that I would run a business that acknowledges bigotry and racism and makes an effort to do its part to change those things systemically. And three, I never wanted anything I did to leave someone feeling disempowered. Whether it was in sales, coaching, or interacting as colleagues, I only ever wanted to empower people in my orbit to believe in themselves and their abilities. So I started my little business and I got my first clients, just a few writers trying to finish their novels and become authors. And then I got more clients, and over time, other values that I didn't even realize that I held, but that I do hold, began to emerge as well. So in the fall of 2021, I codified these a little more formally into a set of company values. And I'm sharing these company values with you so that you know what kind of business you're supporting and working with when you enroll in my program or purchase any product from me. And so that you trust who's leading you and you know what I believe. So here they are. Value number one of our company is that ethics matter more than the bottom line. So from employee salaries to the kind of writers I invite into the program to the standards we hold for people in the program, my business is built on a commitment to ethical practices above everything else. In other words, money is not the bottom line. Ethics are. What does that mean? Well, it means, again, I want to pay my team well. I eschew slimy sales tactics. I believe in empowering everyone who comes into contact with my business. I am dedicated to advancing the writing careers of marginalized writers. I have a kindness policy within the program. In other words, the customer is actually not always right, because my team are people too. So if someone is rude to them, they're asked to leave, period. Because we all live once and no one has time for catering to jerky behavior. I do all of this out of a sense of communal responsibility, not altruism. And I think that that's a really important distinction. This kind of approach, I think, of ethics over making money shouldn't be something special or admirable. I think it should just be normal, because it's really just about being a decent human being. And so if corporations are human beings, they should be decent human beings. The second value is that magic happens when you show up open. I very much believe in the transcendent nature of creativity. I believe it shows up when you invite it in, and that it is far wiser and more original and more interesting than anything we come up with ourselves when we're not open to it. And this belief is at the heart of everything I do and teach. When we are open to creativity and inspiration, surprises arise, dreams get bigger, and our books wind up wiser than we are. And the coolest part is that in the process, we too become wiser. I've changed as a person from writing all of my books, even the ones that didn't get published. Value number three is that the authors and stories that we promote define our culture. The stories we read, see, and hear shape our world, and therefore they must reflect its great diversity. Further, all of us as writers are obliged to actively work against doing harm to any group in our writing, but especially groups that are historically oppressed or misrepresented. So by supporting writers from all backgrounds and by teaching all writers to approach our storytelling with respect for research and care in regard to writing about characters with backgrounds different from us, we prioritize the constant seeking of a better world. And yes, we're only a small part, but every part is an important part. Before I share the remainder of my company's values, quick invitation. I have a free private group for writers working on books where once a month I host a live event where I plan out the first third of a new novel from scratch. It's super fun. It's like improv meets novel writing, and you can join this event 30,000 words in 30 minutes. Watch Mary plan the first third of a novel from scratch at the link below this video. Now back to it. Value number 4 is abundance for one is abundance for all. Soccer is one thing, basketball is one thing, football is one thing. But when it comes to writing, I don't believe in competition, healthy or not. I don't think there's room or reason for it. Over the years, I've only seen competition act corrosively to writing communities. And so as a result, I just make no place for it in my business, zero. Because artistic flourishing is not a zero-sum game, and a win for one is therefore a win for all. And this goes beyond just writing success for individual writers. My company's success is directly tied to its team members' success and our clients' success. All of our boats rise together. And value number 5, creative problem solving often yields the best solutions. Okay, this is the one that my business manager Harrison and I probably quote the most on a regular basis. We are committed to addressing individual problems with specific and sometimes new strategies. We like to think outside of the box when it comes to solving problems, whether that's how to help a writer reach their goal to how to manage a difficult situation. Like one of my kids' favorite books called What Do You Do with a Problem? We view problems that arise as opportunities to learn and to evolve our own processes for dealing with difficult situations and to improve as a team that cares about each other and that cares about the writers in the program. And those are my values, and the values that anchor the Book Incubator program. Speaking of which, are you writing a book or do you want to write a book? Because if so, I have something for you. A few years ago, I created the 4 notebooks method, my process for handwriting a novel across 4 notebooks. This is my strategy for mapping out a story structure without locking yourself into an outline or, losing all the freedom of writing. If you'd like to learn that method and get a free digital template for writing your own novel across 4 notebooks, just go to the link below this video. All you have to do to get the template is apply for the Book Incubator. The application is only 2 questions, it takes under 5 minutes, and I'll send the template to you right away. I can't wait to hear from you.